Good morning, my loves, and it is a good morning because it's 9 o'clock that I'm filming this video. So early in the morning for me to film and shoot, but it felt really good, and I wanted to get this done and up for you as soon as I could because today is actually the Sagittarius full moon. Now, I pulled the chart for you last night, and I was looking at it, and I was writing a blog about it, and the messages that were flowing through were so intense and so powerful. And I'm going to just translate some of those messages here for you on the YouTube channel because for many of you, you like to hear things and see things versus read them. And I totally understand that. I'm visual as well. So the first thing that stands out to me about this full moon is the fact that it falls into the sign of Sagittarius. Now, interestingly enough, you know, for many of us, we've been going through and entering into a space of the unknown lately, especially with Uranus moving into the sign of Taurus and Saturn going retrograde, Pluto going retrograde. All of these planets were not clashing, but creating a space where we kind of had to revisit. And then those old areas of our lives that we were revisiting, it's the universe, the planets are working to destroy them. And I feel like a little bit of a broken record because Pluto is a planet of transformation and it works to literally destroy in order to rebuild areas that are weak, areas that don't serve a higher purpose for us in our lives. And Saturn rules restriction and stability and structure. And that planet is also retrograde. It challenges our commitments and makes you have to revisit things that you were setting your intention on building for the long haul. Saturn wants to invest for the future. It's always thinking about the future. And it says, like, even though it's something that maybe this is something that you're giving your time and your attention to now, maybe it's not for your highest and greatest good. I need you to focus your attention here. And the reason why I feel like I'm a broken record saying this is because I have to keep on reminding you that these are some really important power players that are currently influencing us now while we're here on Earth during this time frame, and I can't ignore it. I can't pretend like it's not happening. Just to talk about surface level planetary movement, these larger planets are impacting our everyday life by restructuring them and changing them completely. So what happens is, and especially as Uranus moves into the sign of Taurus, Uranus is a planet of innovation and surprise and speedy development and advancement. And it's always thinking light years ahead of everyone else. It's always the oddball. It's always the eccentric. It's the person who's different. It's the person who stands out from the crowd. And at first, initially, the crowd looks at that planet or looks at that person and they're like, okay, what are they about? What are they doing? Who do they think they are? You know, we're all doing this. Why are you doing that? And the reason why that is because it's, again, so far advanced than the rest of us. And what it's doing is, 7 years, 15 years, 30 years, 45 years ahead into the future, and it doesn't make sense to others. And in a lot of ways, if it's not a person that is striking out into new things, new experiences, new areas of growth, it's their life. It's their life that is changing and ushering them into a new phase. It's a lot of change, a lot of uprooting for the sake of the betterness of you, and it requires a lot of faith. And that's what, interestingly enough, this full moon is all about, is highlighting your level of faith and your level of certainty and the things that it is that you were born into this life knowing. And that, if you honestly assess people and their gifts and their talents, you can see that there are some people who have, that are kind of like they gravitate or they naturally fit and excel in certain areas of their lives. And there's others that really don't do well with certain things in their lives. And that also is connected to, their beliefs, their ingrained beliefs, the things that, that they would naturally move towards. If you think about, people who are raised in certain households that are strictly Christian or strictly Buddhist or strictly Hindu, and that person, even though they're raised in that household, they may at some point deviate from the norm. They may at some point, seek another theology or another perspective. and carry that and accept that as truth, because within them it resonates and it hits a core within, like a chord within them that resonates throughout their being, and it makes sense. It's truth. And with the Sagittarius full moon, what's being highlighted here is truth. And that means not only in our external environment, but in our internal environment. What is true to us? And only we know that answer. If there's an instrument within us that is a bar, and when you hit it, it makes a sound and it just vibrates throughout our entire being, that's what this full moon is acting like. And there's only one tool that can hit that in the right way in order to make this sound, make that perfect, pure noise and vibrate it throughout your entire being. And whatever that is, that's your truth, that's reality. That's what it is that you want, that's what it is that you deserve in this life, that's what it is that you're here to strive for. And what I'm saying is that this could be anything. For some people, this full moon is going to highlight spirituality. For some people, it's going to highlight their day-to-day practice, especially if it falls in your 6th house of health and day-to-day and service to others. And what you're doing is you're hitting, a chord gets hit within you, and you start to realize the truth of what it is that you need and what it is that your life needs to look like. And again, you know, Sagittarius is the planet that's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of faith and optimism and expansion. And what, to your core, you know the truth of what it is that you want. You know the truth of what it is that you need. You know the truth of what it is that you deserve. And when you step into that and you accept that and you open up to it, it requires you to have faith in a lot of ways that what it is that you have set the intention for can actually happen. Let's say, and that's what Sagittarius rules and Jupiter rules, is faith. So these belief systems are given to us from before we were born. And they were given to us in a way that, you know, like it's almost like an agreement, a life agreement, that like a contract. Before that you were born, you agreed to this life and you agreed to the lessons that are going to come to you and the things that you're going to experience and explore, and the struggles and the challenges and also the benefits and the positives. So, and some people believe that, some people don't. I truly believe it. And with that, you are given a certain set of tools and resources. And one of those resources is your ability to have faith in and believe in what it is that you know that you want and that can happen for you. And that's the biggest thing about Jupiter and Sagittarius and this full moon. So the full moon highlights, and Sagittarius says, I need you to look at the bigger picture. How good can it get? How great can this be? And it may not logically make sense, because the very opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini. And Gemini works with Mercury. Mercury is the very opposite of Sagittarius, of Jupiter, because Mercury is like details, here and now. It's giving knowledge. But Jupiter is what we truly know. Mercury helps us to learn. It helps us to learn new things. But Jupiter is like this core belief, this core theology, this core connection of who and what we are and what is real for us. And that's something that people and things can't really teach us. Mercury can bring in life events and life lessons that can temporarily transform us or temporarily change us or temporarily provide certain levels of awareness. But Jupiter takes it to the next level. And Jupiter says, you know what, I knew this within me all along. And that's your belief system. That's your idealistic vision for your life. And it's idealistic. When we hear the word idealistic, we say, okay, this means that this is how good it could potentially get. This is what I would love to see happen. And it requires a certain level of faith and optimism and a belief that it can happen. And it's idealistic to others, and it's idealistic to you because maybe you doubt that it can happen. But within you, if you were quiet and if you were still, you would know that as idealistic that it sounds, there's actually some truth to it. And if you are like maybe not optimistic, but if you are working towards, and if you're striving towards, and if you set your faith and your vision on it, and that's what Jupiter says, like, what is your vision? Picture it, really see it, the bigger picture. Mercury looks at smaller details, and Mercury gathers facts, but Jupiter says, I need to look at the bigger picture. I need to connect. And when I connect, I will know. When I connect, the path unfolds. Things become clear to me. Jupiter also, in Sagittarius, also says, get out there. For many of you, this is the opportunity for you to travel. For many of you, it's the opportunity to go to higher education. So you realize, I want to learn this. I want to explore this. I want to grow in this area. For others, it's spirituality, or maybe a mentor comes in. A spiritual mentor, a guru of sorts, who comes in and brings light into your life and speaks life into your life. And you're able to take that message and it resonates with you. And because they were able to be enlightened and see what is within you, you were then able to see what's within you. And then all of a sudden it became possible. Do you see how crazy that is, and like how magical it really is? It was in you, it was within you the entire time, but sometimes there's certain things that need to highlight it. And interestingly enough, while I was pulling the chart, I did receive a vision. And at first it didn't make any sense, but now that I'm talking about it, it makes so much sense. And what it was the sunlight. So the sun, was here, and there's a mirror. And the mirror was facing the sun, and it ended up like bouncing the light off of the sun into certain areas. Like wherever it is that you move the mirror is where that light would bounce off to. And it would highlight it and make it bright and blind you with the level of power and light that it was. And it was so bright, like honestly, it could burn your eyes. And the image was like crazy because it was so like, powerful, and it made a lot of sense. So basically what this full moon is doing is it's working to direct the sun and direct light and point it in the direction that is meant to light up in your life. And when you see it, and when it resonates with you, and you feel that answer of yes, that, okay, maybe this is idealistic, but maybe this is actually for me, because each one of us, we're all given different paths in this life and different gifts, and they look like different things. So, and for some people, it may seem like one thing's impossible, but it's not impossible. It may be impossible for others, but it's not impossible for you, because this is designed for you. This is destined for you. And what this full moon does is it's bouncing the light. And interestingly enough, this image, when it came through, it really does kind of replicate like what is happening with the full moon. So the sun is over here and the full moon is here, and the sun like beams its light onto the full moon, and that light is directed to a certain area within your life. And what you want to do is you want to see what Sagittarius rules within your chart. But more than that, what you really want to do is see where the light is being bounced, but also see where the light is being bounced within you. And you know that. It's this ultimate great vision of what you see for yourself and what you want for yourself. And it requires faith. It will test your faith, because that's the other thing. When I started this video, I started talking about these planets currently are really testing and working to rebuild and to destroy and restructure, so that, let's say it's like this shaky bridge. There's certain areas of, let's say it's this bridge that's over this cliff, right? This canyon. And the bridge has been there for years. Centuries, and certain parts that if you step on them, it will crumble underneath you, and it's a safety hazard, to say the least. And Saturn and Pluto are working to crumble these certain spots. And every area that crumbles, and every area that's weak, so the ropes that have been there, the braids that have been there holding this bridge together for centuries, have been eaten away by bugs, the elements, rain, wind. And Pluto is working to say, this is this last string, I'm going to pop it so that you could see it hanging and swinging. And someone's going to come through, this guru, and they're going to They have the tools, they have the resources to provide technology, advancements in technology, so that this bridge can be still honored in its life for what it's, you know, its purpose, for what it has done for people who have passed over it, and but also advancement. So not only will it last, but it'll last for another centuries and centuries and centuries. So what breaks down is highlighted to be restructured and rebuilt so that it's better and it can serve another, you know, lifetime. And that's what's happening within your life, is that there's certain areas that are being broken down. And it looks daunting. It looks terrifying as we look at it from the banks that we're standing on. And it requires our faith and our trust to walk back over that bridge again. But we know it's safe because we trust, but we still are shaky, we're still nervous, and we do it one step at a time. And that's what I see with this full moon in Sagittarius, is this is the full moon to highlight your vision, your dream. Jupiter, again, rules the larger vision, and it requires a lot of your trust and a lot of your faith. You'll know, especially my Sacred Tarot Circle students, that in the cycles of the tarot, it's right before things like chaos happens. There's a reason why chaos happens and everything is destroyed, that we then see the light. And that's within the major arcana, that's the Tower card, and then the Star card follows. So everything is destroyed, and we're just sitting in this cloud of dust, and we've been through so much. And the Star card comes and follows right afterwards and says, look, it's dark right now, but I need you to have faith, and I need you to have optimism, and I need you to look at that vision. You know that you're being guided right now. That's what the star is. And I need you to look for that star. What's being lit up in your life right now? And realize that that is truth and that is real. And walk towards that. Build that. And what's going to help you is your faith and your vision and your belief. And sometimes you need someone to tell you that this is what is within you, in order for you to see it for yourself. And then sometimes maybe it's not someone else, maybe it's you that just needs to sit down and say, this is my dream, this is my vision, this is idealistically what it is that I want in my life, and I'm now going to build towards that, and I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give myself a chance. And you'd be surprised. If everything is up in the air right now, then it's your job and your responsibility right now to be that builder and build the bridge for yourself, because everything else got destroyed anyways. All right, my loves. So that's the message that I have for you for this full moon in Sagittarius. I loved it. It really, when I was writing it down, I sat there for a minute. And, well, for a good few minutes, meaning like 2 hours, just sitting there staring. I was like, what is this full moon's message? What is this full moon's message? I didn't even think I was going to be able to, that anything was going to come up, because it just was so quiet energetically. Like there's a lot energetically going on, but as far as like messages go, I was like, I'm not sure. I might just have to just rely on facts alone. Which is fine, but no, as soon as I put pen to paper, the messages started coming in. So that being said, let's look at the chart. Like 18 minutes into this video, let's go ahead and look at the chart, which I was looking at, but you know, the intuitive messages are very important. So in a nutshell, Mars is moving through Aquarius. Mars is action for this full moon. Mars needs you to do what you've never done before. Do something different. Put yourself out there. Think outside of the box. Aquarius, again, is the eccentric. It's the person who does things differently. It's the person who deviates and goes off on their own path, listening to the beat of, you know, a drummer that no one else hears. And Mars is our action. Mars says, do what you haven't done before. Don't repeat the same old paths. Do something different. Be different. Be a different version of you. Be the highest version of you. Be different. You know, what had worked before, or what wasn't working before, change it. Change it. If you had an amazing blessing in your life and that blessing got stripped away from you, change it. Change. Do something different. Do something different so that the next blessing in your life doesn't get removed. Do something different so the next, whatever it is that's to come, doesn't get wiped out. Do something different. Change. Mercury, still moving through the sign of Taurus, in the very last signs of Taurus. Mercury rules our mind and the way that we think and how we need to plant the seed and how we need to set the intention. Taurus is slow and steady and moves step by step. And it says create, even though you're doing something different, create a plan on that. Create a routine, create structure, create something that you can rely on, create something that's steady for you, steadfast. Who is there for you? What is there for you? What are the tools that work for you? Continue to work with them because they're there for a reason. They're strong, right? So it's like maybe you have same people or something that works for you, but you do something different with that thing. Or you create a different plan, or you communicate steady, consistent, reliable. You make it clearly known. All right? So I definitely see that. Venus moving through the sign of Cancer. This is nurturing. This is building security for yourself, finding things that you're attracted to that resonate with you to your core. For a lot of people, I see the environment, like the home environment, how we grew up, influencing us now, how we love, our love relationships, how we love others, how we love ourselves. And Cancer always connects to the home environment in our childhood and memories. And when Venus is moving through Cancer, she's trying to reconnect you back with the things that it is that you truly need, emotionally, sensitively, like what you're sensitive about. And Venus connects with Neptune. Neptune is the planet of illusion and fantasy, and when the two of them come together, it's like, we want you to have happily ever after. We want you to have, this vision for yourself. It's idealistic to some, but again, for you, it's true, it's possible. And only you want what you want. And then you also have the blessing of Jupiter touching Venus here. Jupiter expands, and in a good way. It's not so large of expansion because Jupiter is retrograde currently. And Jupiter meets with Venus, and they just meet in this gorgeous trine. And what it does is it gives luck with money. It gives luck with love. So, and your feelings and healing for yourself, but also in relationships. So I see that. And then Jupiter and Neptune are meeting. So it's this beautiful trine like a triangle in the skies. And Neptune rules, the idealistic and like fantasy and capturing like your sensitivities, capturing your intuition. How do you intuitively feel? And your vibe. And Jupiter rules idealistic, like your ultimate vision, which is seeing things for a larger picture and believing it and having faith in that. To your core, your truest beliefs, because Jupiter is also sitting in the sign of Scorpio. And Neptune is sitting in the sign of Pisces, which is heightened intuition. The two of them together create this beautiful water trine. And it says, follow your, the fantasy, the vision that you have for it can become real, concrete, cemented. Money, career, love, all of these things can be opened up like a door with this full moon, truthfully, because you have this, it's like a portal that's being opened, and it all moves in alignment with your faith and what it is that you feel and know for yourself. You know when someone is right for you. You know when someone is wrong for you. You know when someone is right for you, but you're not doing the steps to take care of that. The same thing with your career, the same thing with your health. You know that this diet, this lifestyle is better for you and good for you, but you have to be the person who takes care of your health. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to see it and know it and realize, when I drink coffee, I am doing myself a disservice. It may work for everyone else, but it messes me up. When I drink alcohol, it lowers my vibration. This is you talking to yourself. When I drink alcohol, it lowers my vibration. My body knows that this is not the right thing for me. It works for everybody else, but for what I want for my life, it doesn't work for me. It has to go. When I'm in this relationship, I know that this person is amazing for me. I know that they love me. I know that they could potentially be my soulmate. But I'm not doing the things that I need to do in order to foster a healthy relationship with this person. So now I'm going to do something different. So now I'm going to create a plan of action. I'm going to figure out, okay, this is what happened to me in my past, or at least see what happened to me in my past and not let it affect me in the present moment anymore. And I deserve to have a vibrant life that is thriving, that is filled with love and laughter. And if I look back and see what I've done, I can see the mistakes that I've made, but I can also see that I can try and I can make it work, because this is the ultimate vision of my life. This is what I ultimately want for myself. And with faith and God, the higher power, the universe, anything is possible. And I'm going to not block out my blessing anymore. I'm going to open up to receive it, and I'm going to do things differently now. And your whole life is going to change. Your whole life will change. So that's the message that I see for you guys. Please, I know it's long, but also it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you and put it on the YouTube channel. Please make sure that you're subscribed, because there's plenty more videos where this comes from, where this came from. I'm always posting intuitive messages as they come through. Even if it stops me dead in my tracks, I will put that video up, film it, and put it up. Whatever messages I'm feeling, whatever messages come through, I'll put up for you. And then also every week we do the breakdown of what you can expect and what's ahead. But I know that this message is going to hit somebody in a good way. Hit that chord that I was talking about, that chord that just resonates throughout your being. And then when you hear it, everything's going to be so different. All right? So, yeah, leave me comments down below. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how it's impacting you, what you're going to be doing for this full moon. For those of you guys that asked questions of how do I set intentions, Jess, I have a video for that on my YouTube. Just quickly search it and you'll see it. And for everyone else, thank you so much again for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of my tribe. There's so much ahead of us. You have no idea. You have no idea. It's going to be amazing what's ahead of us. So if you are subscribed and if you are a member of the tribe, then you're going to be a part of it. All right? Of course. Of course. When I win, you win. When you win, I win. All right? So we'll talk soon. I love you guys. Talk soon. Bye.